Blessings in the love and in the light of our infinite Creator. Welcome, my sisters and brothers, to the Law of One Meditation Study Group. It's my pleasure to share with you conscious channeling of LL Research. From the principle of QO, here is a beautiful message I wish to share with you. Are you a lighthouse, or do you turn out your own light? That is for you to decide, and it does not have anything to do with the end of the age. In the energies of every day, they are indeed challenging. They are set up to aid you in receiving that catalyst that you need in order to create choices that move you forward. You have the opportunity at any time to accelerate the pace of your spiritual evolution by using the resources of your mind, your emotions, and your body in a disciplined way. And we always encourage each to look at each day with that sense of creation and authorship that you would if you were looking at a blank canvas and deciding what to paint. There is a great deal of life as you experience it that seems to be intransigent and unable to be dealt with in any way except to accept what is. However, there is always a creative way to find the love, the thanksgiving, and the joy that are inherent in that pattern, however difficult it is. It may be that you see the love in that moment coming from the beauty surrounding the situation, whether it is physical or whether there is something about it emotionally, which is touching. It also may be that you are the only love in that moment, and that creates for you a tremendous opportunity to settle into your true vibration and share that with the situation. It may not change the outer situation, but your use of energy, your expenditure of energy at that time has made a difference, not only in the local atmosphere surrounding the situation in which you applied love without judgment, but also because such energy expenditures are added to the fund of love upon planet Earth. For your energy expenditure, when it reaches the level of ethical choice, redounds to the tribe of humankind, not only to your own spiritual evolution. In addition to those normal energies which buffer you as though you were a small craft in a very large sea, each and every day of your life, planet Earth and the surrounding planets as well are being buffeted by galactic energies which have to do with the fact that Earth, as you call this living being, is rotating and spiraling, as is its sun system, into a new area of space-time into which it has not rotated previously. It is time, in space-time and in time-space, for a new age to begin. It is an age with a different kind of energy, And while it is not to be physically linked with the idea of fourth density or the heaven worlds, it contains more light in the light particle that you know of as a photon. Therefore, there is more information in this incoming energy from the New Age. We ask that you not concern yourself with such fear-based thoughts as what might happen to you that is difficult or challenging or causing death in the event of the interpenetration of third density vibrations by fourth density vibrations. This is not an occurrence that we see happening in your earth world. We do not see a possibility-probability vortex at this time in terms of the natural run of things in the metaphysical world that would cause a planet-wide catastrophe. Your planet has received enough love and understanding from the many, many groups around your planet that are attempting to communicate that love and concern and sense of stewardship and partnership with the Earth. That which we do see as a possibility, and that which we would encourage you in all ways that you see to be helpful to respond to, is the blocking of the pretensions of some of your leaders who are drawn by energies that they cannot explain towards the act of conflagration, which would be a physical Armageddon. Nature does not need a pole shift, so-called, at this time because the Earth's people are waking up quickly at the grassroots level. Many of them cannot explain it. They cannot talk about it. They are not confident enough to be able to say anything about what is occurring to them, to the world around them. But what is occurring to them is that they are waking up and realizing that the goodness of themselves and the goodness of other people cannot depend upon governance, but can only depend upon the self and the other selves in the local area about the self, so that more and more people are becoming awakened to the possibilities of cooperation and peace, done somewhat under the radar of government and the larger culture. We believe that there is a tremendous possibility that these pockets of love and light and cooperation will begin to proliferate as loving people find other loving people and form local groups to solve local problems in all of the different areas of life. However, the picture, regardless of the possibility of some man-made Armageddon, at this time is a picture of a time of graduation and harvest that is already occurring. Many of your people have already graduated. For over the last 30 years, you have been receiving, as children coming through the normal process of procreation, wanderers from your own fourth density who have graduated from your present third density and who have realized all of the many options available to them now that they are dwellers within fourth density and have decided naturally enough that what they want to do in terms of service to others is to come right back to planet Earth and help the rest of the planet shift their consciousness to the value systems that are compatible with fourth density energy. As you begin to settle into a fearless attitude towards the incoming vibrations from fourth density and the many waves of energy that are hastening the process, shall we say, or helping it mature appropriately from what this instrument knows as the central sun, there are increasing probabilities that, for each entity, the experiences that are to come will be substantial. They will not necessarily be heavy, for heaviness depends on how you emotionally react to the incoming catalyst. However, the nature of the fourth density energies is one of the most transparent honesty and truth. Under the light of this energy, or shall we say, under the influence of this energy, that which is within the mind and has been shut away as unworthy or undesirable, shall move from the shadowed recesses of that inner closet into outer manifestation. There will be a situation in your life, or a person in your life, or just an inner thought process that will show you the shape and the basic feeling that you have about this hidden part of yourself. That's the key to understanding how to work with these incoming energies. Resistance. Resistance. As this instrument remembers the Borg saying many times in Star Trek, resistance is useless. These energies have an intended effect of helping individuals who are attempting to awaken to see the shape, the texture, the odor, and the nature of those parts of the shadow self that has not yet been recruited to be a part of your round table of white knights. Remember that knighthood is that which is attained by warriors. In working with these energies, see yourself as warriors for light and truth. Let yourself become fierce. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to gaze at the murderer within, the liar within, the adulterer within, the lazy person within, or whatever other distortion hits your attention, with all of the power of a harsh wind or a severe rain. Stand in the wind, glory in the rain, and give thanks. When you are giving thanks for this catalyst, you are releasing from yourself pride and pretension. You are emptying your mental pockets of all of the tools that you have in the everyday world that are supposed to fix things. You empty yourself of these tools because that which is hitting you is not to be dealt with from the level of third density. It is to be dealt with from the level of fourth density. There is no concern as to what this means, my friends. For you have heard it many, many times in many different ways. You are love. You are light. You are all that there is. You are not going anywhere. You are never at risk. When you begin to get a sense of the eternal and infinite nature of your soul stream, and when you realize that you are here at this time specifically to be hit with this truth and this shining light, that realization may help you to firm up your determination to take advantage of this opportunity. You are not responsible for what you see coming in. Your area of responsibility is in how you respond. This is not a call to martyrdom, my friends, but rather it is a call to ethical behavior. It is an encouragement to make of life a spiritual, sacred, game in which you attempt to move yourself from the still point where you neither love others greatly or yourself greatly. We encourage you to make a choice. If you wish to polarize in service to others, start gazing at others with the realization that you are here to help them, just as they are here to help you. Open your minds to the creative question of what seed might you plant that may be helpful. You also asked concerning the experience of the energies as felt by those who do not, at this time, find it possible to move through those actions which open the heart. Those entities are divided into two very distinct categories. We would first speak briefly of the category of those who simply have not awakened. They have not polarized, and therefore they are not experiencing the same level of life as this group, which has asked this question. They are completely involved in the local, cultural processes of moving through life. It is quite possible for such entities to make graduation and harvest, for the energies of graduation and harvest have to do with unconditional love. It is not a book-oriented test. It is not an information-oriented area. The final will simply be your vibration at the time of your death. If it is a fourth density vibration, you will graduate. If your vibration is still involved in the earthly things from the standpoint of Earth, you will continue to spend time on an Earth-like planet until your eagerness and your hunger for more has driven you to move beyond that particular so-called box. Those who have not awakened, however, may well be experiencing a good bit of illness and shortened lives because of the difficulty of dealing with energies that are full of truth hitting body, mind, and spirit. When that body, mind, and spirit complex is not able to bear the truth or even realize what the truth looks like. This is, in a way, unfortunate, And yet, in another way, it is the natural concomitant of an entity who has decided, at some level, not to do conscious spiritual work at this time. When an entity has decided not to move forward, it is inevitable that the entity starts moving backwards. And you see, my friends, in many of those who are fundamentalists in their beliefs and very rigid in their dogma and doctrine, in whatever religious and political systems to which this applies, the contraction into fear and the tendency to see all things in very black and white tones, when in truth it is truly a rainbow universe with not only black, white, and shades of gray, but the most outrageous combinations of bright and creative colors. As entities have emotion, express suffering, and find in all sorts of energy exchanges more and more truth, more and more light, more and more grace, so that which they understand or feel begins to be coherent, and they begin to achieve a metaphysical stature. This is the kind of work which begins to equip one to deal in fourth density ways with third density catalysts. The last category, of course, is those service to self oriented entities who have decided that their way to the Creator is to love themselves more and more purely, and to attract to themselves those entities which will help them and then put them to work as, shall we say, slaves or very obedient servants. You may see this kind of structure in place in organizations like your armed services and some of your churches. The truth of the service to others polarity is just as viable as the truth of service to self polarity. No more and no less. Therefore, it is not surprising that some entities choose the service to self polarity. We are not of that polarity and have never been drawn to approach that polarity. We have found that the creator of this particular sun system, of which we are also a part, has a bias towards service to others. And we find that it is a straighter and more muscular path, one that is more fun to work with, and one that yields a much greater harvest as one moves on. It is straighter, my friends, because one does not, at some point, have to switch polarities. For the negative polarity can only go so. For the negative polarity can only go just so far. Nevertheless, from the standpoint of an entity, choosing between service to self and service to others, it is a very viable choice. For those who have not opened their heart because they refuse to do, and that is the conscious choice of a service to self entity, the incoming vibrations will not be particularly troublesome. Such entities have long chosen to put themselves under the most rigid discipline. Emotional effect does not serve them. Being out of control in any way does not serve them. Consequently, they cope very well with a surprising amount of difficult catalysts because they really have to be firm in their desire to love themselves and very confident before they can make any progress whatsoever in that very difficult polarity. We do not see a great deal of the global surface being filled at all thickly with those who have made the service to self choice. However, those who make the service to self choice have a tendency to seek earthly power as well as inner power, and consequently, they tend to create systems of governance which tend towards the enslavement of some beings for the benefit of others. We would ask entities who wish to think about this further to gaze at the world scene with those particular thoughts in mind. We encourage each to realize that they are powerful. Each and every one of you is a sun, radiant, infinite, and loving. As you sit in this circle in the gathering twilight, feel the power of your combined love and let it bless the world from your open hearts. And with that said, we shall take our leave of this instrument and this group, leaving each of you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. We are those of QO. Adone, my friends. Adone Vasu Baragas.